Come and dream with me.
Hello and welcome to this What Do You Want to Watch Spoilercast for Tenacious D in the Peak of Destiny. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me today, Dylan Blight.
Cause it's the peak! Destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like, copyright strike. Bam. There. Got him.
Great. Definitely not putting this one out on YouTube.
Yeah.
Alright. Please be aware we will be freely discussing anything and everything about the plot, themes, and ending of the film. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. It's currently streaming on Stan, but you can of course buy it from all good digital retailers, I guess.
Jack Black dies.
So with that said, let's jump into our discussion of Tenacious D in the Peak of Destiny, directed by Liam Lynch, written by Jack Black, Kyle Gass, and Liam Lynch, starring Jack Black, Kyle Gass, J.R. Reid, Penn Stiller, Paul F. Tompkins, Tim Robbins, John C. Reilly, and Meatloaf, and Dave Grohl. Musicians JB and KG begin a friendship that could lead to the formation of the greatest rock band in the world. To make that dream come true, the righteous duo embark on a quest to find a legendary guitar pick that possesses supernatural powers. Alright, so Dylan, you're a fan of this movie. You brought it up on a recent What Do You Want to Watch in one of your top threes. Number 2 top musical of all time. So I said in this, it wasn't even after that recording. It was just randomly a few days later, because you love listening to it so much that you listen to it after you brought it up on that podcast. You listened to the album. I said I'd never watch this film. You said, Ashley, that is unacceptable. I know the only way to make you watch stuff is if we do it for content, so let's do Spoilercast.
Can I also clarify that I had been listening to the music because I was like, that was getting my fix after bringing it up, but I wasn't willing to watch the movie because I'm like, I don't have time to watch that unless I have like a good reason. Like there's other things I should be watching or playing or whatever. So then when it was like the opportunity to I wanted to rewatch it, but then I had the opportunity to turn that into being able to make it for a reason, aka content. So yeah, that's what's happened.
Yes. So yes, first time watching it. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's fine. It is. Yeah, obviously it's a comedic musical movie. I can definitely see why it's gotten a like cult classic-esque following. Obviously, there's the fun musical numbers, crazy stoner jokes, and a lot of drug stuff, and a totally out of place car chase sequence. But I could also see why it didn't necessarily resonate with people when it was first released. It's definitely a very broad. I don't know if broad is the best term to describe the comedy. It's very much stoner comedy, which I feel like didn't re-emerge until Seth Rogen started making films again. Or started making.
It was a few years too early.
It was too early, definitely. Yeah, but Dylan, why do you like the film so much?
I mean, I just think it has a place in my heart because it came out when I was in high school and everyone loved it. Like it was at least in my friend group, this was a well loved movie. Tenacious D, their first album was out. I think it was like maybe like 3-4 years prior to this. Their first album,
2001.
So like everyone,
yeah.
So if you were like a Jack Black fan when he like came out with that album, that was a hit album, especially Tribute. Like I know someone who every single get together he has with friends, when everyone's drunk enough, shirts come off, it's time to get the acoustic guitar out, and he sings Tribute without a doubt every single fucking time. So like there is an age group or a generation or whatever, like people who were into Tenacious D were into Tenacious D. Like And when this movie came out, it was a continuation of both, new Tenacious D music. So if you already like their music and you like their sort of comedy rock stuff, then you was all about it. Plus, it was also basically they redid some of the stuff they'd already done as HBO skits for this. And then like built upon that and made like this bigger movie out of it and whatever else. And like if you want to play into like the Tenacious D mythos or whatever, of course Tribute was off their first album, and it's a song about how they can't remember the greatest song in the world, so then they make a song that's a tribute to the greatest song in the world. So then in this movie they create the greatest song in the world, which is what they used to fight the devil. And in Tribute they talk about how they fought the devil. But it's just like it's just fun little playbacks to other songs and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I feel like in general, to like this movie and to appreciate it, you have to like Jack Black, obviously, like his type of comedy, like stoner comedies, like appreciate the jokes. And I'll say straight away, like I've watched this for maybe like 3-4 years or something like that, I think, around that. And we do this every time you sort of talk about older comedies. It's like, does it hold up? Is there like any like super offensive stuff, or like, especially because that's where comedies are where we find the most like out of touch, like offensive jokes. Holds up in my book. Like I don't feel like there's anything like bad taste in here or whatever else. Like the raunchy comedy is just raunchy, like by today's standards, I guess, or you know what I mean. Like there's nothing like particularly offensive about it, whatever else. But then of course you need to appreciate outlandish, silly stuff like the whole dealing with, him floating around high on mushrooms through to them fighting the devil by the end. You have to. I mean,
that's the most fun part, arguably.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say another big element of enjoying this movie and appreciating it and becoming a big fan of it is you have to be someone who likes rock music, heavy metal music, like appreciating all of the guest spots, appearances, all that sort of stuff. Like, so I remember when I watched this when I was in high school, and like around that time I was, I guess, getting into more music and stuff like that. So and this is also when I'm like reading about band's history and stuff. So like when Dio's in this, I'm like, oh, why they have the fucking replacement? Like there's all this sort of, you find out Dave Grohl's playing Satan. You're like, fuck, that's badass. And but you find out like, so Meatloaf is in this. My dad was a massive, so I had to watch a bunch of Meatloaf when I was a kid. Because my dad loved that album. Was it Bat Out of Hell? I think is the big like Meatloaf album. But I think that's it. So when Meatloaf was, and of course Meatloaf is famous because he was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, right? Yeah. So there you go, Bat Out of Hell. And my dad also a big fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show, so I had to watch that quite a bit when I was a kid. So that was another thing. Like I didn't need to be clued into any of the appearances and stuff. So I guess that helped me also when I was in high school. Like Meatloaf shows up, I'm like, holy fuck, Meatloaf is in this. Like this of all movies, I don't think he's appeared in anything else apart from like playing a role like. After Rocky Horror Picture Show, I don't think he like really did any acting roles or whatever. And then he was in this. It was like sort of this like weird thing. And I remember having to tell my dad and be like, "What the fuck?" Like Meatloaf is in this Jack Black movie, by the way, in case you want to watch it.
He's got a lot of acting roles.
Not playing similar like for musicals or whatever. Because I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Like there was a whole thing with him not wanting to do it or whatever. I'm like, why this? So yeah, I don't like. This is definitely a movie where I can very much say like, is this like a 10 out of 10? No, it's far from it. If I'm putting my critic hat on, this is very much a time, place. It's got a place in my heart, my pantheos of just great comedy / musical films. And yeah, I love all the songs. As soon as I finished the rewatch, just went straight back on Spotify. Just put on Tenacious D on Spotify. Just put that shit on shuffle and went for it. So yeah, I mean, you haven't really answered. Like, how do you feel about the music? Is it like? Could you listen to it by yourself, or you're like, nah, it's just for the movie? Or
yeah, I think I could listen to it to myself. I admit it's only been like 24 hours. I wasn't like, yes, I need to listen to the album after this. But yeah, that's a good songs, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you've never heard them, so you haven't watched the movie before, and you haven't heard them before.
I've listened to Tribute. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I've watched some internet videos of their stuff and that kind of stuff. So
okay,
but yeah, the first big deep dive into them.
It was like Tribute and Fuck Her Gently were like two big things when they came out. So that's a real song, by the way.
Okay. I don't know. I the other thing to me that kind of stood out was the like random, I guess now you would call them cameos, but really it was like
You mean
early
like-
roles.
So I didn't know this when Amy Adams comes on screen for like
Yeah.
2 seconds or whatever.
It's
That
like
was a
Amy
weird
Adams is like, wow, she got some brains blown into her.
But this
I mean,
happens
that's the
sometimes
most
with
random
older
one.
movies. So,
It's like,
yeah.
but like Amy Poehler showing up with a black eye. But, you know.
I mean, she was on
Hey,
SNL at this point, so like,
Yeah, that's true. And then like Fred Armisen and Jason Segel plays a frat guy. John C. Reilly is a Sasquatch. I think that's before he started doing his comedy stuff.
Colin Hanks plays a dude who throws a cup at Jack Black's head at the party.
And Ben Stiller, like, totally.
Oh, that's Ben Stiller though. That's just,
I don't know. It feels kind of weird. Like,
does it?
I don't know.
Ben Stiller's done a few roles like this where he shows up in random other people's movies he liked. Maybe not so much anymore, but definitely around like the late 90s to mid 2000s. He was doing this a bit, like playing bit roles.
Yeah, but yeah, it's it was an enjoyable hour 30. You know, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I would have preferred to have more hijinks. You know, maybe the trip to the museum could have been a bit longer with a few more, side tangents. You know, they seem to break up so often through this movie, like at least twice.
Well, yeah. But that's just what you have happen in these sorts of movies, you know?
Yeah.
Bros before hoes, you know, all that.
I mean, it was the opposite, but yeah.
Yeah.
That was the problem. But yeah, Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny. I was also disappointed the song Pick a Destiny wasn't actually in the movie. It was just over the credits. But yeah, what are you going to do?
Rip. That opening song is so good, though, when the movie starts. It's probably one of my... That kid does such a good Jack Black.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
He's pretty great. Yeah. Kickapoo.
Yeah.
What a town. And then he goes to all the other Hollywoods instead of Hollywood, California.
The real one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to get there eventually, you know? By the way, in case anyone wants to know, Jack Black has not wrote a movie since this. So.
No.
That's how much the bomb of this affected his his career.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll stick to acting.
Yeah, I won't put... It's too much effort to be...
I won't try and write any more shit. Yeah.
No.
I mean, the Tenacious D's done albums. They did an
Yeah.
album, I think it was 2018, last one.
And they just did one post-apocalypto, whatever it's...
Yeah.
Which also got an animated series or something on YouTube.
Yep.
You know? I assume this is where the Jables, Jablinski nickname kind of started as well.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So, lots of ties through
connected.
history.
You know what watching this makes me want to watch as well, though?
What?
School of Rock.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate how good Jack Black is, I feel like, as an actor. Like, I'm not saying he's fucking, he's not going to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I think, he's legit pretty good, like performer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got a range. Impressive range.
Yeah.
He knows how to use it. All right, let us know what you thought of Tenacious D, Pick a Destiny. Or let us know what you want us to do a spoiler cast for. Because apparently we'll just do anything. Let us know on Twitter by going to explosionnote.com/Twitter or jump into Discord at explosionnote.com/Discord. If you want to help us out, leave us a review either on Apple Podcasts or in Podchaser. And if you thought this episode was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnote.com/support. Every little bit helps keep the lights on here at the Explosion Network. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, keep watching stuff, I guess.